on your Dallas Cowboys from Frisco, home of the Star, right down the street. ESPN has a morning show called Get Up. And I guess it's meant to wake you up. And I think by and large, I think it's fun and informative and funny. The thing, of course, that they have to do, this is the law in network television, is in that it's got to be fun and informative and funny. The people have to be attractive. That's why I'm stuck in my office. But one more thing to make this fly. It's got to be a little outrageous. So Dominique Foxworth, he used to play in the NFL, is on this show. And I believe that Dominique Foxworth, I believe they had a 6 a.m. pre-show meeting, and they said, okay, well, what are we going to talk about today? And the producer said, well, we're absolutely going to talk about Deshaun Watson. Fine. Just like every radio show, that's... What else? DAK. Well, why are we going to talk about DAK? What does DAK really have to do with... I mean, we can mix him in, part of the quarterback character. Then the other producer says, no, sir, you forgot. We always have to talk about the Cowboys. If you don't want to talk about Dak, we'll talk about Jerry. If you don't want to talk about Jerry, we'll talk about Zeke. If you don't want to talk about Zeke, we'll talk about Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin. But we're going to talk about the Cowboys. So somebody come up with something and hurry. We're on the air in 15 minutes. So Dominique Foxworth in the pre-show meeting says, well, I'll tell you what I think about the situation in Dallas. Okay, well, you played in the NFL. What do you think? I think Dak should get the hell out of Dallas. Okay, now we got a segment. Dominique Foxworth. Then somebody leans over and says, why do you think that? And the room goes silent. And Dominique Foxworth goes, well, I don't know. I was just trying to get the segment going. Isn't that a good segment? Oh, it's a great segment, Dominique. But why do you think that? Uh-oh, now there's 14 minutes till we go in the air. And you've seen the results. Dominique Foxworth, former NFL player, now appears on Get Up, has figured out this game. He already figured out that game. He played in the NFL. That's awesome. Now he's figuring out this game. If you want to be on TV, find a hot button issue. Bzzz. Develop a hot take. Bzzz. And weave yourself into the issue. Bingo. Headlines. And here we are talking about it. Dominique Foxworth has figured out that game, but he has not figured out what you know about the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott and what I know about the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. If I'm Dak, Foxworth says, I want to get the hell out of Dallas. Wait. What? Why? Quote, I feel so disrespected on behalf of Dak Prescott, said another former NFL player on national TV, opening his comments with nonsense, because why would a TV personality feel disrespected on behalf of somebody that is largely a stranger to him? You feel disrespected on behalf of somebody else that you watch on TV? Why? Quote, he's been tremendous for this team. He's had big moments in the playoffs. He's carried them through the regular season, and they seem to give him less and less support, Foxworth says of the Cowboys to Dak, the longer he's there. Let's unpack that. That's quite a paragraph right there. That's all one sentence. He's been tremendous for this team, had big moments in the playoffs, carried them through the regular season, and they seem to give him less and less respect the longer he's there. Support and longer he's there. I feel so disrespected on behalf of Dak. Has he been tremendous for this team? I would argue yes. I know that not everybody agrees on Dak being a great quarterback. Has he been great for this team? That's a pretty good yes. Now, not great enough. None of them have been great enough. But relatively speaking, Dak Prescott is a Pro Bowl quarterback and the centerpiece of the locker room and the centerpiece of the building. That's pretty great. Has he had big moments in the playoffs? I mean, moments? Not enough of them. Has he carried them through the regular season? Yes. And they seem to give Dak less and less support the longer he's there. What are you talking about? Does Foxworth mean less support on the roster? Less support in roster building? This is the Aaron Rodgers complaint privately that we've talked about before here. That's what Aaron Rodgers gets to say. I've been here a decade and a half. They don't give me tools. They draft my backup. They draft a running back backup. They don't spend a lot they don't go for it in free agency. They're not risk takers here in Green Bay, by and large. The way they did in Tampa this year, and Aaron Rodgers is looking at that result, and the result is a Super Bowl berth. Less support on the roster? The roster that has 3 highly paid offensive linemen, 2 of them that are going to the Hall of Fame, a $16 million running back who's a 2-time rushing champion, and the receiving group that already included a Pro Bowler in Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, and then in last year's draft, not giving Dak any support on offense, they add a first-round receiver in CeeDee Lamb. That lack of support? Or does he mean lack of support in another way? Because he should know those facts. He should know they drafted CeeDee Lamb and that it was absolutely a Dak-friendly move. Or does the ESPN analyst mean a lack of support in terms of the contract offer from Dallas meant to keep Prescott from playing on the tag last year? He might not know this, but he should. Because I know if you read me, listen to me, and hang out with me here, by the way, thank you to 20,000 strong of us subscribing, and thank you to those of you who are saying, I think I'll go into that premium community and I'll hang out with fish there too. Come on in. We're telling you in there about the truth on Tyson. I'm sorry, the truth on Tyron. It's true. His name's Tyron. The truth on Tyron is in there. Jason Witten and the 3 faces of wit, also in there. Was it disrespectful to pay Dak Prescott $31.4 million last year? Was it disrespectful, and I bet you Foxworth is ignorant to this fact, per our reporting last fall, exclusive, that Dallas offered Dak Prescott a 5-year, $175 million, $35 million APY deal, including about $110 million guaranteed. I bet you Dominique Foxworth doesn't know any of that. And by the time he's rolling on TV and he's a hooting and he's a hollering, there could have been a producer in his ear saying, "Hey, Dominique, you might want to back off on the lack of respect, lack of support." I mean, they did offer him $175 million. But by now, we got a segment. Stay out of his ear. Let him go. Is that the lack of support that Foxworth is talking about? Guys, where this came from is we got Shefty up there, and Schefter is not reading from his usual cue card, and so he's stumbling, bumbling, and fumbling. And he's saying, well, what if, I'm just saying, he must have said, I'm just saying 100 times. Well, I'm just saying, what if the Cowboys look at Stafford? I'm not reporting, and there's a bumble and a stumble, and it wasn't very good. And that's what Foxworth was playing off of when he said it's disrespectful. Because Foxworth somehow thinks because Schefter's talking about doing it, that means the Cowboys are serious about doing it. I don't think that's the case. What the Cowboys are obliged to do is talk about it in the building. They need to talk about everything in the building. So does every other team. And once the Deshaun brainstorms are done, and once the Stafford brainstorms are done, assuming they are, then they ultimately tag Dak again, which is not the plan. Then he gets $37.7 million. That won't be disrespectful either. I'd like to think that once the cue cards are down and the camera is off, that Dominique Foxworth knows how ridiculous it is to say that if I was Dak, I'd get the hell out of Dallas. That take sounds ridiculous if you know anything. but it sounded great on TV. It's a trade-off. You say that, sound a little silly. A lot of people watch. You get paid. Doesn't help advance the ball of the news. Doesn't help educate the public. It does inflame some Cowboy fans who are watching that going, yeah. And I'm here to say, yeah, what? Dak is not in conflict with the Cowboys as I speak to you now. There is not a conflict. There is no reason to escape here. There is no reason to want to get out of Dallas. No reason. Now, give us till the beginning of March around here, and if things start to get testy and huffy, we can re-examine that. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about pretending. And that's what ESPN did. They pretended. Bish, out.